Let's talk about a landmark that everyone on Earth knows, or at least thinks they know, the Empire State Building. But here's the thing. Its real story is so much more than just a famous silhouette. It's this incredible tale of impossible speed, unexpected Hollywood fame, and a radical reinvention that almost nobody talks about. All right, let's get into it.
So let's just start with this number, 410 days. That's it, a little over a year. Now, what do you think you could accomplish in 410 days? Well, this number, it's the key to the entire legend of the Empire State Building.
Because that's exactly how long it took to build the whole thing, from start to finish. Which brings us to the central kind of mind-blowing question of its creation. How in the world, at the absolute height of the Great Depression, when the global economy was literally collapsing, did they manage to build the world's tallest skyscraper at a speed that is still hard to wrap your head around today?
So this first chapter of its life, it's really a race against a crisis. This project was born from sheer ambition, sure, but it was also meant to be this defiant symbol of American grit in the face of just unbelievable hardship.
And this timeline just shows you the unbelievable speed we're talking about. With about 3,400 workers on site every single day, the building just shot up into the sky. Get this, they were adding an average of 4.5 floors per week. The whole thing, from the first steel beam to the grand opening, was an absolute masterclass in efficiency.
And if you want to talk about scale, just look at these numbers. We're talking 60,000 tons of steel for the skeleton alone, 10 million bricks, enough limestone to build a small city. This wasn't just a building. It was basically an industrial wonder being assembled right in the middle of Manhattan.
So the construction was this huge public triumph, a real spectacle of what people could do. But once the work stopped and the doors finally opened, a totally different and much quieter crisis began to set in.
And here's the brutal irony. Despite being the tallest, most famous building in the world, it couldn't escape the reality of the Great Depression. Almost no one could afford the rent. It quickly earned this really unfortunate nickname, the Empty State Building, a magnificent, world-famous, and mostly vacant tower.
So the building's path to becoming a true legend, and a profitable one at that, didn't come from big corporate tenants. Nope. It came from somewhere completely unexpected, Hollywood. It was about to get recast from an empty building into a true silver screen icon.
Yep, you heard that right. The thing that really saved the Empire State Building's image and cemented its fame around the world wasn't a bank or a law firm. It was the massive, tragic star of the 1933 blockbuster King Kong. That movie locked the building into our collective imagination as this place of myth and epic drama.
And believe me, Kong was just the beginning of its film career. It became the go-to backdrop for pretty much every kind of story. It was the ultimate romantic meeting spot in An Affair to Remember and Sleepless in Seattle. It was a prime target for Aliens in Independence Day, a perch for Spider-Man. Its cultural identity became just as massive as its physical one.
But, time marches on. And as the new century began, a totally new kind of threat showed up. This one was way more subtle than a giant ape. The systems that made it a modern marvel in 1931 were now, well, they were ancient. The great icon of the 20th century was seriously at risk of becoming an inefficient, energy-guzzling relic. And that leads us to the third and honestly, maybe the most surprising act in this building's story, its incredible green reinvention. This wasn't just a little facelift, it was a complete reimagining of what a historic skyscraper could even be.
I mean, this comparison really says it all. You can see the shift in its whole reason for being. The original goal was pure, raw ambition. Just be the tallest. The modern goal? To be a model. To prove to the entire world that even a century-old landmark can lead the way in energy efficiency.
So, what did all this work actually accomplish? Well, this one number pretty much sums it up. The project guaranteed a massive 38% drop in energy use. We're not talking about a small tweak here. This was a fundamental change to the building's entire metabolism.
Yeah, think about that. That's over a third of the building's enormous energy bill just gone. It was the ultimate proof that you can preserve history and be on the cutting edge of sustainability at the same time. So how'd they pull it off? It was this amazing combination of smart engineering. Like, they didn't replace the 6,514 old windows. Instead, they took every single one, refurbished them right there on site, and made them 4 times more efficient. They put in elevators that actually create power on their way down. It's just brilliant stuff.
And the result of all this work?
official recognition. It earned a LEED certification, which is basically the gold standard for green buildings. And this wasn't a one-time award either. It has kept that high standard every single year since 2010, putting it in the top tier of commercial buildings in the country.
So when you put it all together, it's pretty clear that the Empire State Building is so much more than just a really, really tall building. Its legacy is all about evolution, about adapting to whatever challenges a new era throws at it. And its physical toughness, it's just on another level. It's literally designed to be a lightning rod for the whole area. It gets hit about 100 times a year. And get this, in 1945, a B-25 bomber got lost in the fog and flew directly into the 79th floor. The damage? Surprisingly minor. The building was open for business just 2 days later. It is just built to last. You know, when you think about it, the building's journey really is the story of New York City itself. It's a story of incredible ambition, sure, but also one of resilience and this amazing capacity to constantly reinvent itself. So, it started as the defining symbol of the 20th century, and it's managed to transform itself into a model for the 21st, which leaves us with a pretty big question. As it gets closer to its second century, what on earth will this incredible icon come to represent next?